Here we go! Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Experience the newest retro phenomenon where no video game is left behind. We were last on the Atari home computer playing Rocket Raiders because it's September 1982. Let's see what's next. We're going to the Apple II now to play S.A.G.A. number 6, Strange Odyssey, or Scott Adams' Graphic Adventure number 6, Strange Odyssey. This is the final of all of the enhanced remakes that Scott Adams has done. Here is the box, and they redo the box as well. So this is the 6th one of all the Scott Adams games. He did 12 original adventure games, and then here we are now with the enhanced remake, which, to tell you the truth, of all the games we played so far, there is no other series, there is no other video game that's ever done an enhanced remake of any game before. So you got to give props to Adventure International and Scott Adams for taking a text adventure game they had and then enhanced remaking it with high-res graphics, adding speech synthesis with a Votrack sound system. This one is the full package, and this is the last one we're going to see. He did 12 of them all together, and the remastered one, there's only the first through 6 that we're going to see here on the show. But wow, the front of the box is insane. It's obviously going to be a space game because we played Strange Odyssey before, and then we have a few screenshots down at the bottom for what it looks like in the game. This one is an amazing adventure game for all the adventure games you could play up to this point. I know it looks like a really good sci-fi novel in the palm of your hand. Very, very well done box. And flip it over the back and it has, when you sit down to a Scott Adams graphic adventure, anything can happen. Like your dad turns into a Viking and crazy things in the house happen. It's all part of your imagination. And there's our 5 1/4 floppy disk we're going to pop into play with an example of those high-res graphics. You also have the manual with every single one of the Scott Adams graphic adventures or the S.A.G.A. series. They tell you about what an adventure game is. You're at the bottom of a chasm, cool air sliding down the sides. They even are narrating it like you're going to be playing the text adventure game. So they tell you what an adventure game is, how the text parser works, and they try to tell you, don't worry, if it gets frustrating or it's hard to understand, or the computer doesn't understand the text parser, just keep trying a few things. They always have lots of tips and tricks for us. So this is the graphic adventure for the Apple II. He released all of the S.A.G.A. or graphic adventure versions of these on the Apple II, and then later we're going to see them on the Atari home computer, and then some other home computers. So to play the game, it explains what you want to do in the beginning when we boot it up, and then after that, it'll show you what message it'll be displayed. You'll flip the disc over, and then it shows you a brief explanation of how the S.A.G.A. games work. And we have a few adventure games that do this too, where it goes from high-res picture on the screen back to the text mode. And it even has the Votrack's type and talk and printer output if you want to. We are not going to be playing this on the Votrack's voice synthesizer just like the other ones because the gameplay is very slow. It is extremely slow. So I have an example in the background while we're on the main screen of the Votrack system, what it sounds like. It's almost like we're listening to Stephen Hawking. But the game itself, you can do that if you wanted to. And then it says the system requirements. So this is on, oh, it even has the Atari version here. We're not going to see that one yet. But yeah, that's the Atari. We're on the Apple II, which is the first release for it. And yeah, after all the loading, lots of loading instructions. Then how to play Scott Adams' graphic adventure. It's 2-word text parser like it was with the original text versions. It shows some of the verbs that are useful for you over here on the right side. And it even has 1-letter commands that you can do, turning on the Votrack's voice on and off when you decide you don't want to hear a robot voice, for example. Inventory is I, things like that. And then the graphics mode if you want to turn it off, on and off. And we're going to show that when we play the game. So it even has some playing hints about mapping. Draw a map. The following is a method useful in mapping adventures, and you bet you drew maps when you played these. This one isn't as long and exhaustive as something like Zork. That's still the king, and Infocom is still the head of all the adventure games out there. But for a graphic adventure game, you're still going to need a map. And look at this. They even have ways of describing where you're going from scene to scene. Very nice for playing hints. And then they even show you examining items around your adventure, and if you're seriously stuck, there is a hint book that contains hints for all Scott Adams adventures, available from Adventure International. That's where the real money's made from adventure games. And there it is, the Book of Hints that you can buy for all 12. Yeah, there it is. All 12 of Scott Adams adventure games are out there. We've played them, and at this point, there's been a lot of ports of Scott Adams adventure games. While there's 12 of the text adventure games, at this point, we've played 43 in the series of Scott Adams adventure games. That's how many text adventure or graphic adventure games we played. 43 of them. It's incredible. So this is the last of all the enhanced remakes, and this is available also on TRS-80 and Atari 800 as well. The original one we played was on the Atari and the TRS-80 in 1981. So Strange Odyssey isn't new to the show, but this is the very first time we've seen the enhanced graphic adventure version. This one has Side A and Side B. Let's go in and play Strange Odyssey by Alexis Adams, Kim McNair, and Scott Adams, the beginning of September 1982 by Adventure International. Don't you love it when you boot up a video game and it tells you you need to flip the disc over? So after you spend all that time, you gotta take the disc out, flip it over on the other side, and now we can go. Yes, I really enjoy the text adventure games. I wasn't as big of a fan. I liked adventure games when we started the channel, but now as we've gone game to game and seen different worlds that they've had us play, it's opened my eyes. I really want to play more text adventure games, and I'm really enjoying them on the show. So if you don't like this text adventure game, it may not be where adventure games are your thing. So just like explained in the manual, we can go with a graphic adventure, and it even has a rear guard demo or escape from tram demo if you want to. They even spelled it wrong. Tram is 2 M's, I think. Well, we're not going to do any demos here. We're doing Scott Adams' graphic adventure game. This should play very similar, if almost identical, to Strange Odyssey that we played in 1981. And as usual, on the graphic adventure games, Scott Adams has an open letter, and we're going to skip it. So I'm going to hit Z, because we don't want to hear Scott Adams talk to us. But there he is. We still get the picture telling us not to copy that floppy. I know, right? 43 Scott Adams games. Now, that's not Adventure International. That is just Scott Adams' classic adventure series that's been ported and sent to all the different computers. Okay, so we have all these different things allowed. It shows you all the hotkeys we saw in the manual. I like that too, but now we got to flip the disc over again. So that means, is one side of the disc, was it only for the public service announcement by Scott Adams? Is that all one side was, and then you flip it over and that's the whole game? Okay, so now we're in Strange Odyssey. Do we want to store a previously saved game? We do not. And then do we want the Votrex voice synthesizer? No, we do not. And as usual, this program allows you to have an adventure without ever leaving your armchair. We've seen that since the beginning, I believe 1978. It's been a lot of Scott Adams adventure games. I'll be your puppet in this adventure. You can command with 2-word English sentences. I have over 120-word vocabulary. Ooh, very impressive. And don't accept a pirated copy. And go. All right, we're beginning of the game. I'm in a one-man scout ship. What's visible here is the control console, closed door, and exits are down. So Scott Adams Adventure Games always split the screen up at top and bottom, and then at the bottom shows you what you can type in. Like, welcome to Strange Odyssey by Scott Adams, dedicated to the Novaks. Not familiar with the Novaks. And then hit enter. If you push that, it shows you the high-res graphic now that we're on the S.A.G.A series, and then you can go back and forth between the text only. It still doesn't look exactly like it did on the original, on the Apple II, but now you can go back and forth. Graphics, whoa. I'm going to keep it here because as soon as you start typing, then it goes back to the text anyway. All right, so what do we want to do first? We already know what's available in the room, so I'm going to go ahead and head down. Just have to hit D. Let's move on down. We're lost on an alien planet. What are we going to do? It draws everything in for us. Classic. All right, so the high-res picture shows us what we see, but I can't make that out. It might be a shovel. It might be a gun. It looks like a gun. So now we're in the storage hold. Visible items are the maintenance access hatch, spacesuit, phaser, and shovel, and we can go back up. So what we want to do, we want to get phaser, and it's going to draw it out of there, right? Yeah, redraw the whole screen, of course. And then get the suit. Always get everything you can in adventure games if it's not nailed down. Yeah, high-res visuals are top-notch. We've already seen plenty of graphic adventure games or adventure games that have the high-res picture like this. And then the last one is get shovel. And it was a shovel. I didn't need to use my imagination. What's going on here? Okay, we picked up everything we wanted to. Let's go ahead and go back up. Now that we're in the control room, what can we see here? We got the control console. Okay, so let's go ahead and look. Console. Ooh, nice. Every screen draws in. Right now, the system we're playing on is an Apple II Plus. So, okay, just hit return. Looks like we have a blue button that's marked blast off and an unmarked red button. All right, so let's go push red. And the red button opened the door that was locked on the right side. So now, as we did back with the High-Res Adventure #1 on Sierra Online, go door. And that's how you go through doors in adventure games. Oh, that's right, Ubicore. You can also say get all. All those awesome tricks with adventure games. Okay, so now that we're here, what do we got in here? We're in the small airlock, the red button by the door, closed door, and the inner door. So what do we want to do? So now let's go ahead and wear suit. We're going to go off in space. Nice. And then push red. I think it'll switch the doors for us. So it's going to close one now that we're in the airlock. Make sure your suit's on. There's already so many deaths. Okay, whoosh, we did it. Okay, go door. That's it. Oh, nice. A first-person view looking down. All right, so it tells us we're outside the airlock on a ledge. The ground is 90 meters below. So we're on our spaceship, landed on a planet. So now what do? We jump. The gravity here is very weak. Good for us. And we made it. Yeah, so cool. One of the cool things, the best things about adventure games at this period is the video game that doesn't have a score attack, the video game that doesn't have repeated playthroughs. This is, let's get to the end. How do you see what the ending of the video game is like? Imagine that concept. And here we're playing a game that's leading us screen by screen, flipping pages as if we're flipping a book and playing something larger than just an arcade style game. All right, so gravity's weak. We made it on the surface. Very nice. Now that we're on the ground, let's go ahead and head... Actually, what do we have? We're on the small planetoid. We can only see our scout ship. We have all directions, north, south, east, and west. Let's go ahead and go north. Draws everything in. I love it. Go north again. Very minimal on the sound, though. Maybe we should have had the Votrax voice system on so we could read all the text for us. Okay, so we're north twice. Now it's going to show us that we're on a cave that's here. Wow, I can barely see. Does anyone see the cave? Is that it? Way on the far side? You can barely see what it looks like. But it's telling us it's visible. Thank God it is. There's other text adventure games we played that they don't tell you what's on the screen. You have to know if it's a graphic and know what to do. Or it's a text adventure game that has no graphics and you have to look around, like actually look at ground, look at rock, and then it says, oh yeah, there's a cave over there. It's cryptic, but you gotta love it. All right, so go ahead and enter cave. Let's head on in. Yeah, graphics are pretty good for all the adventure games and computer games you can be playing. Now that we're inside, we got a large boulder with strange writing on it. And there's no way to find out what it says, so we can shoot that boulder. Ready? Oh, and you know what we got to do, though? We need to set our phaser, if I can spell it. Set phaser, so I can do to stun or to destroy. To destroy. Yes. All right, so now shoot boulder. I think that's how they said it. I fire the phaser. We don't need to read any cryptic alien words. Just blow things up. I love it. All right, we destroyed it. Cool, and we got some rubble. Very nice. Oh, thanks, Ubicore. Appreciate it. We played all the we played every Zork 3 so far. It's September 1982, so Zork 3 hasn't arrived just yet. It's right there, really close. But there still might be grooves here. Very nice. All right, so now we have strange flickering curtain of light and rock dust. Very nice. That's very reminiscent of Zork 2, which we did a Zork 2 phenomenon before. All right, so now we do go curtain, which I never would have got that one. Because we passed through the flickering light curtain to the other side. Nice. Now where we got some goggles, possibly. I'm in a strange hexagonal room. Visible here is the curtain of light behind us, small piece of plastic flush in the wall, a rod jutting straight out of the wall, and strange-looking goggles. Okay, get goggles. I'll take those. Okay, and then remove our suit. We don't need that because we can breathe in here. That's great. After going, I guess, blasting the rock made it work for us. All right, and now we can drop our phaser. We don't no longer need that one. And it draws it on the screen. How cool is that? Since the beginning of time, when we had Colossal Cave Adventures, you would want to drop things almost like as breadcrumbs in the games. We haven't done that this year as much. 1982 hasn't been adventure games that require you to drop items to follow your way back. Yeah, that's true. It does draw fast, but it is an Apple II Plus, so just bear that in mind. All right, so now the air is breathable. Now, what do we have? The flickering curtain, piece of plastic flush on the wall. All right, so that means we have a rod or a computer that's sticking out of the rod. And a lot of the game's going to be considered right here on this machine, or what we're inside. This whole thing is the machine. It's a plastic panel that glows. And so what we do is first pull the rod. Pull my rod. Here, pull my finger. It only requires very little force to slide out. Okay, so we got the rod jutting out the wall. Got it. After that, then push it. And it glows briefly. Slide the plastic globe briefly 3 times. Push it again. Nothing happens, as it seems to be as far in the wall as it will go. It'll cause the plastic panel to glow. So now we have, just the rod jutting out of the wall and the plastic flush in the wall. Very strange design if you want to do a system like this, because we played a game called Time Zone, the very largest and expensive adventure game so far. Time Zone had a time machine, but they didn't go through this kind of complex. They just said you're in the time machine and then use the time machine. It wasn't very complex. This one's going through something else. All right, so how about we... Okay, so we want to make the panel 6 glow. So push, rod. Oh, that's right. Now we got to pull it. I didn't know I'd be pushing and pulling a rod during the game. It's only required very little force to slide out. Can I pull it again? Nothing happens. Push, rod. Now briefly 4 times. Okay, so you have to do this over and over again until it glows to 6 times. So do it again. Pull. Got it. And then push. Now it's 5. Good. Pull. Lots of trial and error. Push, rod. Nice. Now we're at 6 times. Touch the plastic. Touch plastic. Okay, I feel strangely disorienting for a moment. Oh! And we warp through time and space. Or maybe just time. Still no sound effects, though. It's not completely out of place. There's plenty of adventure games that had no sound, and this one's no different. Yes, it is the inanimate carbon rod. In Rod we trust. You feel strangely disorienting for a moment. Okay, so we're now in a different area or a different time and space. All right, so now we want to wear our suit again. Got it. And now we are in an alien museum. So let's go ahead and I think we go back through this. So go curtain. Oh, yes. Now we're talking. Draws it all in. Where in the world are we now? We're in an alien art museum. Never would have expected that. Strange flickering curtain of light, alien sign, a rare alien painting, and an alien sculpture. Nice. So we've successfully finished part 1, and we're now in part 2 of Strange Odyssey, further than we made it before when we checked this out in 1981. But still got to admit, it's okay. For all the games you could be playing right now, Strange Odyssey is an excellent, excellent title. All right, we're going to go ahead and quit out this time. That was a quick taste of graphic adventure games, or a very good adventure game that you could be playing right now in 1982. So I'm going to say, of all the computer games you could play right now, it's excellent. It's around the 4-star range if you consider everything, because you can tell they spent a lot of time on this one. It's obviously based on previous material, but no other video game's doing this. No one's remaking something they had before. So I still got to give it props as a great, fun game. And if you don't like this kind of game, then maybe you just don't like text adventure games. Bartleman's even throwing 4.5 stars out there. I'm seeing Charlie Ubicor and Curtis saying 4 as well. Yeah, the previous one, S.A.G.A number 5, was the count, and I said 4 stars as well. This year has been the remake of Scott Adams games. Manly saying 4 too. Very nice. All right, so that's The latest and sadly the last of the enhanced remakes. We're going to be seeing these 6 remakes on lots of other home computers over the years. So let's press forward and see what's next. We're now on the Atari home computer, and this is Salmon Run. Okay, Salmon Run. Never heard of this one. Let's take a look at the box. This is one of the boxes. This is done again by the Atari Program Exchange, or APX. Yeah, I'm with you there, Curtis. Really sets it above the rest. Help Sam the salmon swim upstream to spawn. Say that 3 times fast. So this is one of the APX boxes that could have been there. I believe I've seen 5 versions of this box. If you wanted to play Salmon Run 5 different ways. But if you look on the front, are we still running on, is it 48K? Doesn't say here. I'll probably say somewhere else in the manual. There you go, Salmon Run by Bill Williams. Our very first video game by Bill Williams we've seen on the show. 8 and up, written machine language, got to have that. It even has the story on the back of the box, very nice. Bill Williams, there he is. Very, very simple as far as APX boxes go. We have more, though. Besides that one, there's the original, the first one that came out on Atari Program Exchange. Yeah, and you only need 16K on cassette, 24K on disc to play it. It's 1 to 4 players. How bizarre is that? Because this one is an alternate play game. Here's the magazine ad you would have seen by APX at the time. I know it's like early homebrews. That's the way to think about it. But homebrews didn't exist, or the term homebrew. At this point, we played a lot of games by the Atari Program Exchange. This is our 35th Atari Program Exchange video game on the channel. And then we also have our cassette tape we're going to pop into play. And it was also available on 5 1/4 floppy disk. More rare, though. Most people would be playing on cassette on your Atari. All right, we also have the manual. There it is. So this one is the last version 5 of Salmon Run. It looks really flashy and nice on the APX. Help Sam the salmon swim upstream to spawn. One of the first times we played as a fish. There's been other games we played from the side like Funky Fish, playing as a fish, but this one's different. This one's special. You'll see when we boot it up. Yeah, so this one is, version 5 of the manual. The story of the determined salmon struggling upstream to spawn every season takes a slightly different twist with Salmon Run. The mighty little fish struggles upstream fighting bears, waterfalls, and seagulls. But is it all for naught? Does he merely die in the end? Now his fate is in your hands. Now you can relive your dream playing as a salmon. Use the joystick, the Atari VCS joystick. 1 to 4 players can take turns, because why not? There's 4 slots on the Atari home computer. Just have 4 controllers plugged in so you can take turns. Each game will include an increasing difficulty series of river courses. Sam faces a variety of complicated circumstances. When he got to his journey upstream, should Sam successfully run the course, he wins Samantha, a baby salmon, and the chance to run the river again. Oh, so you're going upstream just to have babies. Very nice. And there's where you can contact the author. How to load salmon into memories. And then the loading screen shows you the number of players and game level. 8 different game levels. Wow. And even breaks down what they do. So it's given us variety, some options. And then once we start the game, it has the setting. The river course consists of a shoreline, waterfalls, various rocks, and weeds scattered along the river. If Sam hits the shore or rocks, he bounces back into clear water. You have to keep him close to the middle of the screen as river permits. Every time Sam completes a lap, the shore color changes and additional waterfalls appear. Essentially, you go level by level and it gets harder. And it shows you how to use the joysticks. Pretty simple to do. So if you push the joystick forward, it causes Sam to speed up. Pulling back causes him to slow down. Very similar to other games like Scramble we played, or shoot-'em-ups that allow you to make the screen go faster. When you pull back on the joystick while Sam is in mid-jump, he dives into deeper water and stays there until you push the joystick forward. Cool. So you can make Sam the salmon dive down. And we also have hazards like bears. Those bears. Seagulls. More birds, and fishermen. Lots of info in the manual. Now, this one is version 5, so maybe they explain more than the other ones. I know, right? You can make a game out of anything now. I love the Wild West of gaming. It's going to be sad when all those licensed games show up, but I'll just bask in the amazingness now. All right, so we got spawning after 3 laps. After Sam spawns, he becomes more and more tired, and the waterfalls throw him back. You even have scores. The farther you make it, and you get points for every successful time you jump over a waterfall. You can be the Master Salmon difficulty level if you score 100,000 points. It won't happen tonight, I'm telling you that. And then they even got playing tips like everything on the Atari, how to restart the game. And then as usual, the Atari Program Exchange has a forum about the game you played, the number of problems, how you like it. And you fill that out, and that's how we found some of the best games on the Atari home computer. All right, so just some alternate versions. Let's pop in and play Salmon Run by Bill Williams in the beginning of September 1982. Our 35th Atari Program Exchange game. What a ride it's been. Welcome, Don't Eat the Squid. It's time to play Salmon Run. All right, so you can see the different game modes. It's essentially 1 to 4 players. I'm going to go with 1 player because I'm the only one here, and it's alternate play anyway. Push start, let's go. We got a little tune. Whoa, hear the sound. What? Some of the best water sounds I've heard from any video game as we get eaten by a bear. So it's scrolling vertically at the top of the screen. I'm controlling when it can scroll or not. We have a really fast short ditty to play before we go. Let's see if I can do my dive trick. I can, so you can hide under the water if you want until you decide to go up. So I just want to do this fast. Oh, and you get repelled back over the waterfall. Look how quick it scrolls. So I'm hiding now from the bear. Oh, and he's going to run after me. Okay, we got him. We escaped. Very interesting. So we played as lots of animals on the show, and we've done things with played video games that have different things with animals, but controlling a fish like this from this perspective, we've never played anything like this. It feels bizarre because there's so many sci-fi games out there. There's hundreds and hundreds of sci-fi video games we played, and to play something like this feels like it's very different. It feels like I should be shooting something. I made it. No, keep going. Don't let the bear get us. The sound is what really sets this apart. It sounds like water sloshing, and it feels like when I move the joystick. See this? I move left and right, and the sound gets louder of a splashing in the water. Well, it does kind of seem that way, like it's going to be changing color as we go upstream. How long can we survive? Yeah, it's just changing the color palette on the outside. But control is tight, very nicely done. Do we make it? Yes! And you get a cutscene. Very nice. That's all it takes to make baby salmon, kids. Everyone avert your eyes. Now we're on to the second one. Oh! And the bear got us. We got more lives, though, in the top left left corner. Incredible. Oh, man, yeah. Bears are going fast. Now that I know there's a bear behind me, I'm going fast as I can. So, look, you can hide under the water. Just take your time. Ready, and go. Nope, jump over before the bear shows up again. Scrolls really smooth. Oh, no, you don't. Yeah, we're doing great. Dodging as many bears as possible. Going for the high score. Now, this is the very first game by Bill Williamson, but we're going to see him later. He's going to be doing the sound design for Defender of the Crown, which that's I think, one of the biggest ones I can think of that we're going to see in the future, but that's way later. We did it again! It kind of does look like that, Charlie. Remember, we're still in the age where you kind of have to use your imagination. And squint a little bit. And remember, we're playing on a CRT. I'm putting filters in to hopefully give you that full experience. Yeah, this is fun. And the alternate play would have been okay if you wanted to show off you have 4 controllers for your Atari home computer plugged in. Simple enough, easy controls. For some reason, though, it does feel like it's lacking something because you don't shoot. but that's just because we played so many shooting games. I don't know. I'm not a fish guy, so I don't know what spawning really means, Manly. I think it means you have babies. Oh, there's a fisherman. He got us. How do we get back? I guess we can't dive under the fisherman. We've had a really good run. In my playtest for this, I didn't get kissed by any other salmon girls, so we're doing great. I didn't know there was even a fisherman out here. We haven't seen the seagulls yet. All right, so let's dive under. Don't get us, bear. Just walk on by. There we go. Looking good. 100,000 points. Look how long we've been playing to get to 500. At least before we die. That would take a long time. Oh, he got us before we died. Man. Yeah, sound effects are the #1 thing that makes this game unique and special. The music, but sound design, wow. Even arcade games. I'm trying to think of another arcade game that has water sound that sounds this good. This might be the best sound effects of water we've seen in any video game. And the way that it makes the sound when you move the salmon really enhances it. It feels kind of like we're playing with something in the water. Jump, go! Get away from bear! Come on, you can do it. We're almost there. That bear's still right behind us. Levels are getting a little longer. We did it again! I'm making this look easy, but when I tried it in the original playthrough, it didn't go very well. It didn't do this well. Happily ever after. Alright, so of all the games you could be playing right now on a home computer, Salmon Run's alright. I mean, you gotta admit, for something that was made by a random programmer, wasn't well known, at least right now, and then you pick this up, you'd have a good time. It would be very fun and enjoyable. I'm going to actually say, of all the games you could play at this point, 3.5 stars. You, of course, saying not much, 1.5 to 2. Yeah, it's a score attack still style game, and the difficulty increases slowly over time, but as far as the enjoyment, it's great. Bartleman's saying 4. Yes, Manly, 3.5, yes. Let's rate it M for mature. So good. Charlie's saying around average. Yeah, so it's divisive because of the idea of a game. It's not a sci-fi style game. It's not a shooter game. Yeah, so it's very strange. It's different. But I like that. Don't Eat the Squid says 3.5 too. So there you go. Just above average, but still good enough to play for all the games so far on the home computer. I love it. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's good. The sound effects is really what's selling it. And I think that's what Bill Williamson's going to do later on too. Wow. All right, after that, what's next? We're going to the United Kingdom to play the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Samurai Warrior. Samurai Warrior already on the ZX Spectrum, I'll take it. So this is the later box. I believe this is 1983 when we're going to see this one, but it's really nice. Artwork on the front. This is the cassette case, obviously, but we also have more than that. Samurai Warrior also was first released kind of looking like this. Software for the Spectrum. That's all you get. MC Lothlorien. In magazine ads, you would have seen this one. This is available both on the ZX81 and the Dragon 32. And it says, how have you fared as a how would you have fared as a samurai in the 13th century Japan? Face challenges from samurai and bandits. Are you a survivor, or will you be forced to commit ritual suicide? Oh gosh. 7 levels of play. A most fascinating game is what it says. And on the Spectrum, it only costs £5. £5.50. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's true. Thanks, Uvacor. And then there's the newer box with an example of the picture. So we even have the manual or the inside sleeve. You are a samurai warrior living in the Kamakura period in Japan, 1185 to 1333. Your objective is to defeat your opponents and either survive to old age or commit ritual suicide. So Buku, wow, they really have ritual. First time we've had ritual suicide in a video game. Your opponents comprise 6 groups of bandits, 9 other samurai of differing abilities, any of whom may at the beginning be superior to yourself. The idea of the game is to attempt to choose your course of action, though this may often be denied to you, and to offer or accept combat in the light of current knowledge. Your target is twofold: to exceed the preset target points and either survive or an honorable death. Your target score is either 1,500 points or depending on what level you play on. So each level of play consists of one or more actions, and it's kind of like a turn-based strategy game or simulation game. Yeah, the game got dark fast, but that's not all. Samurai has a lot of unique features. You have different opponents. ST is your overall status. Reputation as a fighter is RE. SU is your success. And PH is your health. How would PH, I guess, what would PH be for health? The state of health. Interesting. And then it shows you some of the different options you can have, loading instructions, and then how the play works. There's 7 different difficulty levels, and depending on which one you pick has a cap of how many points you're supposed to reach before the end. The central reference point is the 7 option menu, and it's displayed there. Combat can be deliberately sought after or forced upon you. Someone can ask your hand in combat. And then we also have hunger in the game. No way, you have food supplies. And then security is your overall sense of security. Victory, and then bandits. We have roaming groups of bandits in the game as well. Lots to see for a game that's this unique. So some alternate versions there. Let's pop in and play Samurai Warrior by MC Lothlorien, the beginning of September 1982. That's the sounds I want for my ZX Spectrum in 1982. Just random bleeps and bloops. Bring it on. All right, so consult the notes and enter a level of play. We did consult the notes. I will do level 1. You got to start level 1 because you'll see how crazy the game is. So this is both a menu command-based video game, kind of a strategy and simulation. It's unique because the samurai theme, we played a couple of video games that were called Samurai, but they weren't samurai. They were like board games. The very first and one of the only ones we played was Samurai in the arcade in March of 1980. That one you actually played as a samurai. It's a really cool game. It's like an early hack and slash from 1980 in the arcade, but that is it. There is no other video games that have anything to do with samurai except this one. This is the second ever video game across the gamut where you can actually do something with a samurai. So just bear that in mind. All right, so what do we want to do? We can challenge, hunt bandits, help a village, look for food, commit seppuku right now. Let's try it. Can we do it? Commit seppuku. Okay. Oh my gosh, seppuku successful. You died with honor. Game over. We got 750 points for killing ourselves. You have lost. Another game. That's crazy. I'll say yes. We get some more bleeps and bloops. Love it. Just as they had in ancient Japan. Yeah, gruesome, right? Okay, we'll try 5 then. I'll take Manly's advice. All right, so here we go. Oh, we were talking about committing seppuku. Okay, so let's do status report. This shows us what other samurai are like. We are yourself. That's our stats. And then we also have Sato, Nakata, Kiyomori, Hideyoshi, and Akichi. So that's what their stats are. Let's go ahead and look for food. That might help. A village asks for help. Do we want to help them? Yes, we do. Akichi challenges you. Do we want to say refuse? We are not going to do that. So you see how the game works. It's just menu-based or menu-driven. You make decisions, and based on those decisions, we're trying to get to a target score of 1,800. Okay, so let's do it again. Look for food, like I wanted to first. Sato challenges us. No, Sato. Keep refusing. That means our reputation goes down. Yeah, look, we're at 2 reputation. Not good. All right, so let's go. Akichi challenges us. Man, which one was the terrible one? Was it Akichi, or was it the good one? You have to memorize their stats. I'm going to say refuse again, but we're going to go way low. Yeah, our reputation down to 0. All right, so who's the terrible one? Kiyomori. So if he challenges us, we might be able to do that one. Maybe if Kiyomori does. All right, let's try it again. I want to look for food. Okay. Please give me food. Hunt successful. Very nice. I am the Yellow Belly Samurai. So our reputation is terrible because we haven't fought anybody. So let's try attacking Kiyomori. Let's challenge. Okay. We want Kiyomori. Now it says 1 to 5. I don't know what that means. I'll start with 1. There it is. We're battling Kiyomori. Come on, we need to raise our reputation. As my understanding is, all this, I'm not controlling any of it. It's all random. Come on, kill, kill, kill. Oh, and we died in combat. So it is all random. It is almost like some other games we played on the ZX81, and this one's available also for that system. So do you want another game? Against my better judgment, yes. And then let's do just level 2. This time, let's try to hunt for bandits. Bandits attack you. I thought we were hunting bandits. 8 bandits sighted. There they are, all 8 of them. 5 were killed, so we got 3 left. Oh, and we survived. That's pretty good. Okay, I'll take it. All right, let's go ahead and help a village out. And bandits attack us where we're trying to help the village. 11 bandits. Sometimes these menu-based strategy games don't have any graphics, so they're at least giving us something to see each other. We get attacked again. Man, the roving bandits are nuts. 10 more bandits sighted. Yeah, so this one is very classic if you enjoy the games on the ZX81 that have the text on there. The villager asks for help. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say no, and I'm going to stop us there. So there's Samurai Warrior for the ZX Spectrum. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, I actually want to give it props because of the samurai theme. There is only one other game where you have anything to do with samurai right now. So I actually want to say around average. For all the computer games you could play, you could find enjoyment with this game. Oh yeah, a little bit because of the keeping yourself alive. Charlie's actually saying 3.5. Manly's going 3 stars, even lower. Yeah, I like the fancy color too. With a U, color with a U. Yeah, I'll also say around average. It has some enjoyment, and possibly people could, not or shy upon this one. But at this point, you would have a good time playing Samurai Warrior. I like it. All right, what's next?
From high technology,
it is the latest issue of Softline Magazine. Let's dive in and see what's happening in the world of Apple II. There we go. It is September 1982. Now, this issue of Softline Magazine, you gotta admit, it's just terrible. What? Who puts a dead lady on the front of a magazine? I don't think I've ever seen anything this bad. It is a terrible front cover of a video game magazine. But we'll see better ones later, especially from Electronic Games. So Volume 2, this is, I believe, marking the first year anniversary where Softline did 6 issues last year in 1981, and then now we have the next one. Murder on the Micro, Who Done It? All right, let's flip it open. And on the left side, we got an ad for Pac-Man. We just saw this one by Penguin Software. Very cool. Pac-Man is the very first cooking simulator, if you want to call it that. We're putting pieces of stuff together for pies, but it works. Very nice. I'm going to skip by the table of contents because we're going to go through the whole magazine. Very fun. So over here on this side, this is readers of Softline Magazine telling us what they're changing in the magazine and what's happening. Going for more games approach and telling you more about how to program for your Apple II and programming in general. Very fun. Yeah, this one marks the 1-year anniversary. So it was September 81 when they first started Softline Magazine. And then over here on the right side is Direct Line, where you can write in and ask questions. Someone here under Cracking the Egg says, I need help. In Zork 1, how do I get the egg open and finish the adventure? You don't know how to get the egg open. What a loser. It's one of those, I need help in a text adventure game. But it says you need to write the Zork user group and their book. So they're not even going to give them the answer. They're telling them to go to the Zork user group. And if you want to get through that door, remember, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. So at least they give them a little help. Oh, yeah. Interesting, Curtis. Yeah. And then over here, I would appreciate hearing from any wizardry fans that have solved the riddle that is asked before the door on level 6 in Knight of Diamonds. Whoa, someone's already asking questions about Knight of Diamonds. Very nice. All right, let's flip to the next page. It is a massive ad. We've seen this before by Infocom. Yes, they are writing them as fast as we can. At this point, we played Zork 1 and 2. Zork 3 we haven't seen yet. It should be by mail order at this point, so if you were lucky enough to get it really soon a mail order, you'd see Zork 3. But we have seen Deadline, and then Starcross is just around the corner too. But Zork 3 will complete the trilogy. That'll be a fun time. Let's flip on to the next page. It's an article about the Master, Jim Nichols. And at this point, we've already seen Jim Nichols on the show. He programmed Asteroid Field in 1981 with Star Thief, Bug Attack, and then Ring Raiders. And then in 1982, he did Bug Attack on the Atari home computer and Microwave. in May 1982. So we've already seen a few games buy him, and then we're going to see other ones buy him too. I think they talk about, some of the work he's doing currently and what it's like to be a video game developer at this time. Very different life, because if you do well enough, you can retire very early. I know, look at that. What he has in the background, it's awesome. I wonder if that's what he's using to program on too, or maybe that's what it is in the very back, the top left corner. And, oh yeah, you want some high score SATs? Don't care. We'll flip on to the next page. Got a giant ad on the left side, but here on the right, check it out. Here he is at 15. Matthew Laberteau has accomplished the accomplishment of 1.2 million points, and he is the national Pac-Man champion. Look at that face. How long did he play to have 1.2 million points? April 25th is when this happened, he said. He enjoys this type of action a bit more than Pac-Man. Oh, and since he was hooked on Missile Command, it says. And his favorite right now is Dig Dug. Very nice. Oh, yeah, Curtis. So maybe he was programming on the Apple II to the Atari home computer. They do, Obsidian Arcade. Everyone looks a little bit older. So he says he's 15 in this picture. So he looks older still in the face. And then down here on the right, this is Pillbox. And I believe we're going to see this one soon, sometime in September. So I'm not familiar with this one, but we'll check it out soon. Let's flip on to the next page. This is an article about 3D mazes, which are all the rage in 1982. We played a ton of them. And this is explaining how to program those 3D mazes. So if you want to start doing your own, here you go. Softline tells you how to do it. Maybe his Barto, man. It changes the way their faces look. All right, we'll flip on. We're not going to be programming any 3D mazes, but they go through quite a bit. And they always have these ads in the bottom left corners of selling stuff. So whenever I was going the research for the show, I'd be perusing magazines over and over again, looking for release dates. But you can also see how much things cost then, because different computer stores and outlets and even mail order locations would have different prices to be competitive. Yeah, 3D Maze Craze Revival would be awesome. Maybe it is Obsidian Arcade. That's right. All right, so they got also joysticks, making sure you pick the right ones in the bottom right corner. Over here, we got an ad for Taipan. We saw this one on the TRS-80 in 1979, and then on the Apple II in June 1982. We were just talking about the style of game, management simulation style game. This is what this is. Strategy adventure based on the China trade of the 1800s. Really cool if you dig it. And over on this side is doing some Atari sounds using that Pokey chip. No way, look who it's by. It's Bill Williams in Softline Magazine talking about the Atari sounds, and we just played Salmon Run by Bill Williams. I didn't expect that. That's pretty cool. We like your water effects, Bill Williams. So yeah, he's showing about pitching, tone, and he's going to be doing a lot of other music or sound effects in video games later. So we might see him at a later time. Okay, so over on this page, yeah, this is all about messing with sound on your Atari home computer. Very nice. And then this one's in the bottom right is a character editor. Yeah, we'll breeze by that. Next page is what the front cover is all about, which is detective mystery, murder mystery video games. I mean, Deadline's the one to go with. Deadline's one of the best computer games you can play right now. So this one is another article about adventure games and how impressive they are, or what it's like to play a murder mystery adventure game. Very cool. Over here in the bottom left, check it out. This is Abuse, the Insult Program. We played something like this, but it's essentially you talk to the computer and they're going to insult you. So if you don't get enough from, Berserk saying chicken fight like a robot, you can do that one. Yeah, it would be so much fun. Don't eat the squid. This would be the way to do it. It'd be so cool to be that good at programming and then just go out and make games like that's what Bez did. Bez MX, I think we're going to see something by him. So flip it on. Oh, there he is. Speaking of Bez, Bezoff. Another one we checked out. A shooter. What kind of exterminator are you? Very, very nice. All right, so this is Game Line. Did it already start back here? No, it's right here. So Game Line starts here, and they break down some other games. Like this is Serpentine by David Snyder. And then they talk about this one as, they say Choplifter was a hard act to follow. Serpentine's not quite the graphics tour de force that the Whirlybird predecessor was, but it's twice the game, and that's no mean feat. They're comparing it to Choplifter. Interesting. And then we also have Canyon Climber. We've already played that on lots of home computers now. Canyon Climber is pretty good. It's right up there almost with Cannonball Blitz as far as Donkey Kong clones. What do they have to say about that? Giving us a game that's fun to play, makes good use of computers, animation, and musical abilities. A little bit. And then we also have the Galaxy of Games, which I think that's Bill Budge. Challenging in a Way by Marauder. Yeah, this one has a bunch of games. So yeah, it's not the Bill Budge one. This is the one that had several different like mini games you could play. So we played that one too. The games are essentially good for youngsters because the instructions are easy to understand. 4 games, the price of run. It's a real bargain, yeah. And we also have Marauder, very nice, coming out. And then some more controllers and paddles to check out. Very nice. All right, flip on to the next one, more discounts. And then we have, hey, hockey. Is this the one by Gamma Software? It is. So this one's a hockey game. We played another one that was soccer as well. Gamma Software put out 2 sports titles that I can't find a lot of information on. There's not like the box or artwork anywhere, but they're 2 really good games, solid sports games, because it allows 4 players simultaneous play. And here it is, hockey. What do they have to say? 4 people can participate. It says, despite the shortcomings, though, hockey's an infectious streak to it. It's nice to see a game that can involve so many people, and it's true. That's why I rated it so high, because of the 4 players simultaneous. It looks primitive, yeah, and it does. Someone made a comment when we played the soccer game that it looked like hieroglyphics, and I don't blame them. Then we have Hazard Run. I am not familiar with this one. Anyone have any information on Hazard Run? Burt Reynolds. Major problem is the joy. Oh, it's a car game. It's a driving game. A bit too primitive for today's market. Okay, so they're not giving it high marks here. They don't rate the games on a scale or a star rating. They just have a paragraph to explain it. All right, so let's flip on to the next one. Over here is The Dirty Book. Subscribe today. So it's a bunch of... what is with Softline Magazine and the adult content? Because they even were advertising the soft porn adventure by Sierra Online. So it's a book with, I guess that's type-in games. So you can imagine buying a pornographic book, or I guess an adult content book, but you're having to type in the video games to play. That's just pretty desperate. Pretty desperate. All right, over here on the right side, we have some new players. Lionel Raff, and I don't think we've seen anything by them yet. It looks like a picture of my parents from the 70s. All right, and let's see what's next. Very cool. So this one is Ken Rose explaining adventure games. They got a really cool map of how you can design, or what your thought process should be whenever you're designing video games. Very cool. And then give you some code to test out too. Almost every one of these pages has had code that you can type in. Very nice. And then, of course, Ken Williams has another Apple II graphics section telling you about how the memory is laid out. Thanks, Ken Williams, helping even more developers out there. On the bottom left side, it's an ad for another character generator, or fantasy game character generator. We don't need that one here on the show, but we'll flip on to the next one. Wow, Ken Williams has so much in store. And then here's a big ol' ad for Zero Gravity Pinball. This one we saw in April of 1982. Zero Gravity Pinball wasn't that good. It was disappointing. I understand they were trying to do something new, and we've seen that with quite a bit of home computer games. It's ambitious, it's different, but it just doesn't hit the marks. All right, next we got high scores. Who's got the top scores? Whoa, look at this. They have so many games now. This used to be only a quarter page on Softline. Someone put in their Taipan high score. $25.1 billion they made in Taipan. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, and over here, ladies and gentlemen, this is an ad for the official Frogger, the arcade game on home computers. Look at this, on the Apple II and the Atari home computer. So this one's an interesting one. I have the Atari version pegged at the end of September, beginning of August, whenever the Atari version comes out, the one that's done by John Harris. But the Apple version, I had that scheduled or set for 1983. So this ad makes me want to change the date because they say that all orders are available. You're available to order the Apple and Atari version right now. And everywhere I look, though, they always say the Apple II version of the official Frogger came out in 1983. But here it is, September 1982. We can call Sierra Online and order it right now. So maybe I got to bump the date up. That is fascinating. Why is all the other ones wrong? And then finally on the back of the magazine, we have an ad for Prisoner 2, which we played on 2 different systems, Atari and Apple II. Awesome. There we go. Yeah, it's true. It may have been delayed because everywhere I've looked, everyone says 1983, but now I want to know for sure what's going on. What is it really? When's the real date? But we will see the Atari home computer version very, very soon. But then the Apple II, maybe I'll just push it a little bit later after that. I need to find more ads to see if it really was available. All right, great read for Softline Magazine to see what's heading new and for the Apple II and just what's coming up. All right, well, now we got to put our video game playing and reading on pause. Tune in next episode for a slew of Atari VCS games, a new publisher for the Atari VCS, and the official port of Star Raiders home on the Atari. That's it for today, and like I always say, save often and back up that cassette and disc. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.